нас, шановні друзі, глядачі, просто люди, які подорожували цим віртуальним світом і натрапили на нас. Hello everyone, hello every human being. You are welcome to our crazy hybrid, always moving carpet of art, technology and people. Zaczniemy od lista pewnej bardzo ciekawej osoby, która pochodzi z Szóstki. Дорога довжиною в рік. Рік тому Московія віроломно вторглась на територію суверенної країни України, та принесла криваву війну, таку війну, про яку ми й досі знали лише з книжок. Війну з літаками, гелікоптерами, колоннами ворожих танків, бронетранспортерів, що із зловмисними намірами розрізали наше небо та поповзли по нашій землі. І ось минув цілий рік відваги, злісті, горя, страху і сліз. За цей рік наші воїни навчились бити і перемагати ворога. Людям в містах та селах прийшлось навчитися жити без води і тепла, народжувати дітей у своїх підвалах, вчитись без школи і без садочку. І сьогодні деякі поневіряються по всьому білому світі. Ворог зруйнував життя кожної української родини. За цей рік душа українця настільки змучилась, що ми всі з останніх сил чекаємо на перемогу. І в глибині душі сподіваємось, що вона вже буде дуже скоро. Але ж ми не просто чекаємо. Велика сила людей по всій Україні допомагає фронту. Багато шосткінців за покликанням душі допомагають чим можуть. Ось і в черговий раз громадяни міста, підприємства зібрали такий необхідний вантаж для наших армійців на фронт. І нам, звичайно, потрібно якомога швидше доставити його на передову. І знову дорога. Це далеко не вперше, але кожного разу по-іншому. Цього разу привернули увагу Боромля і Тростянець, які почали помітно відновлюватись. Згадали, в яких згарищах вони були перші місяці війни. Дорога після Сумщини краща, і рухатись можна було значно швидше. По Харкову безпечніше було проїхати через центр, оскільки об'їзна ближча до Московії. Ось Ізюм, раніше красиве і величне місто, яке знаходиться на високих крайденних пагорбах, отримало дуже значні ушкодження. На в'їзді з боку Слов'янська, на високому красивому пагорбі, раніше була велика торгова площа з вишуканими магазинами. Ми просто розгубились, та зараз це лиш руїни. Вистояла невелика каплиця, але й вона посічена кулями і уламками. По дорозі до Слов'янська декілька населених пунктів зруйновані вщент. Доводилось бачити багато руйнувань вже цієї війни, але такого тотального винищення територій ще не бачили. Це суцільний жах. Всі будівлі і навіть маленькі прибудови зруйновані практично до фундаментів. Від дерев залишились тільки посічені стовбури, без гілок і без верхівок. Електричні опори пробиті по декілька разів. В одному з пунктів, який ми проїхали, стояла могильна тишина. Немає людей, не чути гавкіт собак. Не літає навіть ворон. Нема нікого. Ось що наробила ця російська наволоч. Наші хлопці і дівчата Шосткінської тероборони зустріли нас привітно. Поруч з нами віяло полум'ям війни. Відчувалася їх глибока відповідальність за справу, яка їм випала по захисту рідної України. Більшість облич знайомі. Кожному хочеться потиснути руку і подякувати за їхню мужність і відвагу. В очах усіх впевненість і надія на перемогу. Вразили слова знайомого солдата, який висловив особисте прохання. Попросив організувати достойні похорони його другу Андрію. Він сказав, він захищав наші позиції до останнього. І що тепер можна додати? Нам слід усвідомити, що там, на передовій, неймовірно складно. Кожен день, кожен метр, кожна хвилина відвойованої української землі дається надзвичайною ціною. Нам на мирній території необхідно робити все для фронту. Пишу текст з телефону, а він розривається десятки разів. Шосткінці звертаються, то пропонують допомогу для хлопців. Чергова машина з необхідними речами вже підготовлена для наступного походу. І це дає надію, це наближає нашу спільну перемогу. Слава Богу, слава Україні!
Wrzuk z udziałem pamiętników, dzienników, tekstów, zapisków dziadka Gleba, które będą wracać jeszcze nie raz w trzecim sezonie. Well, welcome in first episode of third season of UKRAiNATV. We are back, we are alive, we are live. Thank you, Gleb. Thank you everybody who are with us here and around. Za chwilę next point, special guest in our studio. We will do something more and more in future, and today we will go into a history of intersection of art and political activists, I hope also, and we will have some news, some interviews we bring also from Berlin, but not only. Stay with us, and now short break in being live. Greetings to Imi Adu, who is starring our clip done by UKRAiNATV, especially for song production by Fed with heart-loving as a vocalist, and Imi Adu as an actress, main person in this kind of a psychological noir movie we did especially for this music. And greeting especially because of COVID, which keep Imi in her space, and she's not physically with us today. Be well and come back to us. And now, anything anymore.
Compared to others, your ranking is low. This one? This one? No, this one. No, this one. Maybe put it low. Okay. Compared to others, your ranking is low. This makes you sad. This makes you sad. This makes you sad. This makes you sad. The swiping finger is tired.
And we have to stop.
Others are supposed to move us, to arouse us. This makes you sad. And yet, we don't do anything anymore. This makes you sad. Makes you sad.
Others, your ranking is low.
It's tired. Feel anything anymore. Tired. Forget about it. Sorrow, no matter how short, is real. Stop. The heart is frozen.
Yeah, things going so quickly. We start to talk 2 months ago maybe, and now we are here together. Florian Schneider, legendary person, the only, the last one who still believe in art as a field of knowledge production, because I think we have kind of the crisis of this. Your investigations, your activities starts 30 years ago, maybe more early. I don't know about prehistory, but I'm big fan, and it was very important for me what's happened in 10 Documenta, and later No One is Illegal, the project, very important for thinking about the possibilities of be responsible, socially, politically responsible in field of art, to create real collaboration in real intersection for a long time between political activism, which was so strong then, where alter global movement was cross around the world, so active, and then art was a part of this, or tried to be also in front of a big crisis from 80s, 90s, that the big market of art was growing and was dominating in a way imagination of also young artists, people in the art industry. And then something very strong, very important, very new start, and you was a person who gave tools, power for them. What's happened with that energy? How you feel? What we can say, for example, for young artists, for students now, basic, going back to that time and that's tools, that's power.
Wow, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
This was super impressive. Many things.
Maybe too many.
First of all, I think, I'm not such a believer, or I'm not a very strong believer. I mean, I don't believe in many things.
I try to do still, but this is impressive.
And I mean, I would in this case, and I think probably the last thing I would believe in would be art, because I think it's actually quite interesting not to understand it as a religion. Although, I mean, I know there are many people around, no, who, I mean, act as if the art world or the art market would be something like a kind of para or pseudo or para-religion or so, yeah. I never liked or could stand this attitude. Yeah. But I'm very grateful and very happy and about having a chance to enjoy the some of the privileges that in this society are connected to the arts or artistic, cultural and creative production. And these are things that are, they are always incredibly important and relevant. For example, the privilege to question everything that exists. Yeah. There is no other discipline, there is no other science in which this is possible to that extent. Yeah. Or the urgency to constantly reinvent yourself. Yeah. These are. I mean, it's maybe not something that I believe in. Yeah, but I mean, I think these are very, very strong and important and powerful. Concepts that are becoming increasingly important today. I think I would disagree with you. I think that the role of let's say politically conscious and aware and artists, yeah, who are thinking politically. Yeah, this does not mean that they have to do political art. I was always very, very skeptical. Never really liked this kind of all too easy mergers or blender where art and activism blended into something that pretended to be very political, but then happened within the walls of a gallery space or was sold as a commodity and so on and so forth. I think it's the adverbial mode, no? I mean, to think or to act politically. And this is becoming more and more increasingly important, or it has never been so important these days than what you referred to in the 90s, early 2000s. There were other formats, there were other channels to express a certain dissatisfaction or worries or criticism, or point to injustices, yeah, that are not available today or don't seem adequate anymore. Yeah? So this means we have to invent new formats and new or create new platforms in which these expressions can take place, and this is for me an essentially artistic or arts-related domain, no? Or maybe it's the core of art or the arts. Yeah. So I mean, very early in my life, no, I mean, I had to decide: do I go to the art academy or do I go to the film school? And it was very clear for me to go to the film school. So I have never really believed in this idea of making a career in the art world or on the art market. Nevertheless, I think that the history, the theory, also the institutions of the art or of the arts are very, very important. Very important territories, contested territories. It's not that things are simple or easy in these fields. They're contested territories, and which allow us, on one hand, I mean, to go into exile there or to find temporary refuge, yeah, which this was basically what we did at Documenta 10, doing things that would not have been possible anywhere else than at this moment, at this place. This was very interesting to experience the capacity of this very, very specific configuration of a large-scale exhibition with 10,000 of visitors, 10,000 of visitors per day, to experience this and to use it as a leverage in order to what is today called maximize impact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, often I'm criticized that I have a functional relationship to the arts, that I do not really believe in it or so. Yeah, I think this is a healthy critical distance. But the other thing that came to my mind listening to you is, I mean, if it's true that we are experiencing at the moment a shift from merely cognitive to affective forms of knowledge production, I think to insist and to highlight and to experiment with the capacities of artistic, creative and cultural production, not only to produce entertainment or to embellish or to decorate or to illustrate, but to produce knowledge that is useful and valuable for other people is something that we cannot highlight enough at the moment.
Yeah, you start to talk about platforms, about institutions, and then I start to think also more historically, going back like over 100 years ago, that there was, for example, in a small city in center of Poland, which where a group of artists established a museum of contemporary art. Like a grassroots institution done by a group of artists, like abstract painters and this first avant-garde formation, and which was like a searching for the new model of institution, searching for new possibilities of being visible, searching for new tools and institutions and like a setups for production of new knowledge, new visibility, and so on and so on. Then we have like a situation now between platforms, digital culture, corporate platform, Web 2, and for example, your ideas from 10 years ago or maybe before about Kane.org, for example. As I prepare myself a bit to this conversation, there was some like actions in front of this, what now maybe is too late or maybe not, to create kind of the new institutional network in front of growing up of digital culture, growing up of digital art, which is now colonized by this corporate infrastructure. And now we are like still have our new institutions for that's new forms of activities. We have like for last almost 20 years growing and like being homeless in a way. We try our studio, but it's like a small lab, and this kind of places are like small islands in the big world, centralized, so centralized. Do you think we can do something with this in the long perspective from position of art, from position of institutions, and for position of future?
I think both is equally interesting. No, I mean, on one hand, I mean this kind of line of flight. Yeah, for example, leaving the urban, gentrified, creative quarters and go to the countryside and try to reinvent things from scratch here, no? Like institutions or the way how we work together, especially in educational contexts. This is very interesting at the moment, and I see a lot of experiments post-COVID, post-pandemic, where a lot of people went back home from the cities of Amsterdam, London, Berlin, or whatever, where they were kind of, in some kind of hybrid existences between creative production and bare survival or some subsistence strategies, and then suddenly they had to go home to the villages or to the small cities where they grew up. And I know from many people that they said, okay, let's then start a co-working space in a small village in the middle of Italy or in the north of Spain and teach retired farmers how to program in Python. Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a multitude of these little examples. The point is that it's not recognized. It's not visible.
Yeah.
It's between the it falls between the chairs, or between it's the granularity of how we look at things, or the state of the world. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about so big blocks of social media corporations, and how long will Google survive, and is Microsoft coming back, or whatever. No? I mean, we talk on such a macro scale, no? That the very interesting processes that might happen at the very same time in this on a micro level are totally ignored, which is necessary in order to give them the capacity to truly incubate new ideas. Yeah? But then there also must be the moment where this synthesizes and comes together again. And I think...
or just to link them together, to be visible to each other, I think. Kind of the infrastructure of...
this is one of the paradoxes, no? That the tools that were supposed to link and connect everybody, namely social media, has actually produced quite the opposite. Yeah? This does not mean that it has to stay like this, yeah? And it doesn't mean that the use of certain technologies, which basically for me is, I mean, there was clearly this shift, which is usually described as the advent of social media or so, now with 2008, 2010, maybe until 2012. No? But what basically happened is that the source of value creation shifted to platform economies that exploited value on a meta level. Yeah? It's not the film or the movie that you upload to YouTube that creates value. It's just there in order to trigger interactions or to extract value out of what you have been putting into relation, what you have been doing before and what you're doing afterwards. Yeah? And I think these forms of collective intelligences, yeah? This is basically what it is. Yeah? It's not what I produce individually, you know, but it's what when I produce what I create together with an unlimited amount of other people. And this is also not perceivable on an individual level. No? I mean, I cannot make myself a living from exploiting the metadata of the films that I made. No, this is not possible. But in a large machine, I mean, human-machine assemblage, yeah, like a social network, this is possible. The question for me is, how do we reappropriate the value that is created on this meta level? Because at the moment it is expropriated by platform economies that have absolutely nothing to do with the creative sectors in which this value is originally stemming from. So this is for me, it's a question of a challenge of reappropriation in this context. And this is, I mean, paradoxically, not about the product itself, not about the binary data that are stored somewhere. So it's also an issue, no? But it's about the level on which value is created.
This
is a massive challenge.
Like being in the process of working with this.
This means that we have to develop relationships between producers or creators of content that are radically different to everything that we know. Yeah?
Exactly.
These are not. This is not based on divisions of labor in a film team or constellations of ownership between co-production companies. This needs to be based maybe...
And what about art in this, and this conception that it's still in art education, that you are artist, your authorship is your signature is the most important. I think that things must be overthink like and completely taken in different way, and it's also in a way, something what is a kind of the base of modern European culture, this liberal signature of creative person, of author, and the authorship itself.
No,
and,
this is clearly this is clearly the. I mean, it's the smallest common denominator. I mean, and it's at the same time also. It's the biggest problem that needs to be overcome. No? It's such an petit bourgeois attitude. It's so 19th century, or however you want to call it. We are discussing this at the moment in our staff meetings. How do we make the step from an educational model that is targeting at linear development on an individual level, so you go from first year bachelor, second year bachelor, third year bachelor, and you accumulate and more learning outcomes, but it's a linear model of progress that has nothing to do with the reality. Exactly. So but it has to do with the very idea of learning. Is learning something that happens within myself and is confined by myself, so I learn something, or is learning a collective process? Is learning, in my opinion, learning always means that you never learn for yourself, or you never learn alone. You learn always in relationship and in close communication or collaboration with others.
You never learn alone. It's nice.
It's a collective consciousness in which you learn. Because you immediately relate, double check, compare with others. No, I mean and these are the process. So it's a collective process. It also it cannot be solved by just making some group project work then from time to time in order to undo the focus on the individual. At the same time, we also see that in these economies in which we are operating at the moment, I mean, individual linear development, I mean, is absolutely irrelevant. I mean, we are talking about collective processes on a completely different scale. So how do we? I mean, this is clearly something where the field of art education is extremely retarded. No, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it's bizarre partly. No, but then at the same time, it's also interesting because it opens up a space in which one can question these concepts pretty fundamentally. No, but it comes. I mean, one also has to see this. No, it's not just. Okay, I mean, there is a certain price, or it has a certain price tag, no? I mean, it also means that as long as you're doing things as an individual, and as long as you brand and promote it as an individual exercise, no matter how many people are actually behind it, or how many people contributed to it, and so on and so forth. I mean, just imagine. In every film, there is a kind of there's credits that really list everybody who contributed to the project. When you see an artwork, you see only one name of somebody who is supposed to be the artist. It's interesting in this context that when we look at the new industries that are emerging in the creative sectors, for example, we had last week we were talking with the representatives of the Swedish game industry. So and they said there was a confusion because when we talked about artists and they talked about artists, totally different things. No, I mean for them the artists this is the lowest rank. These are the people who are just doing repetitive work. For us, the artists are, I mean, the kind of blue chip top.
It's still this romantic vision. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it also can easily be, no, that the industry, the industrial development, is rendering this complete. No, anyway, it comes with a certain price, and this is, I mean, a kind of, relatively fatal confinement to specific institutions, to stay within the borders and within the limits of specific institutions. What you can trade for this, for confining your activities to certain areas, what you trade with it is the freedom to do whatever, as long as it doesn't matter. So within a white cube gallery space, you can be as radical as you want, but it's clear, because it's happening in a space that is designated as an art space, which means everything you do there does not matter. So it's kind of isolated from the rest of the society. And I think this is, I mean, to break down this border, I mean, of course, we're not the first ones who are discussing this, and this has been a really, I mean, a strong desire of artists, also, especially in the 19th century, to break down this barrier is a very interesting challenge at the moment, because we have the possibilities, we have the technologies for this. We don't really have the mindsets for it.
Yeah, absolutely right. And sometimes I think that there are like two tendencies in the same time, that there is kind of a more and more hermetic new art, still based on these authorships by this signature tradition, but quite contemporary, quite good, and traveling from institution to institution, from art fair to art fair, and so on. But on the other hand, there are mostly in media art, I think, experimentation with authorship, which is going directly from the process of production, investigation. That is, there are more and more collectives, more and more people from different disciplines. It's transdisciplinary groups working on follow project and so on, and sometimes I think that there is like a gap which is bigger and bigger, and maybe there is something like a iceberg going like further and further, and it's something there is like a possible change, and maybe
also I think during the pandemic we probably could experience the collapse of an art world that was already, I mean, in ruins. But I mean, now the dramatic consequences become visible. But this will open up completely new possibilities to develop new approaches. I mean, there are 10,000s of students who graduated from art academies only in Europe, over the last 1 or 2 decades, without the probably even without the desire, to become blue chip artist that performs on the market. I mean, these were products of the 90s and maybe early 2000s, very much connected with new economy and stuff like this. I think we are encountering a completely different challenge. What do we do with this? I mean, mass creativity,
Yes.
with this collective intelligence, with very well educated, large amounts of very well educated people, but they are not, they don't exist as a class, yeah. Let alone, not to mention as a creative class also, yeah, because they're doing different things and they're active in different fields and they make money with very, very different and uncomparable
And
practices.
in stable
And
way, like in
we have to
precarious.
see this as a competence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, of course, you can call it precarity or precariousness. Yeah. I mean, clearly it
Yeah.
is. If you work only on a project basis and from project to project and constantly exploit yourself, but at the same time, you can also see it or reframe it, yeah, as probably the only capacity to deal with the challenges, the societal challenges that we are experiencing these days, and that we will experience, even bigger challenges to experience in the future. Yeah? So I think there is a giant potential that is sleeping and basically untapped. Yeah? And we have to think about how to unlock this potential, and but it requires different forms of connecting to each other. Yeah? This is why I think, I mean, your approach or your project is extremely meaningful and helpful in this context, because these are exactly the questions we have to raise. Yeah.
Yeah, we try our best, and we are going to Trondheim in April, where Florian is a professor at the Academy of Fine Art there, and there will be a conference run by Society of Artistic Research that you are also involved into the society. Tell us about the society also as a tool, I think, for searching for new knowledge in this field we are talking about this potentiality of art also as a
I think it's a line of flight. No, I mean, in my understanding, I mean, okay, I cannot speak here for the entire community of artistic researchers, but I understand very much artistic research as a line of flight out of many of the stalemates, no, of the of conventional art education or artwork practice, artwork focused practices, because it opens up a different dimension where the production of new and original knowledge is in the foreground, and not your performance on the market or not your performance on a non-market that is only driven by gossip or whatever kind of claustrophobic environment. Yeah? I think there was also a big enthusiasm among the art institutions that opened up to what is called the third cycle in the Bologna process, yeah, so the doctoral education. So we have many art academies like here who are offering artists the possibility to make a PhD, and they're very different models. I mean, they really differ massively from each other. We have a model in Norway. We developed a model where the artistic work is in the center of the dissertation, so it's a different degree. It's not a scientific PhD, but it's equivalent to a scientific PhD. It's a specific solution. So in every country, in every context, there has been different solutions. The idea of the Society for Artistic Research is to bring all these different approaches together and to advocate and lobby and promote the very idea of artistic research, but also to discuss the future of artistic research. For example, and this will be one of the focus points of this conference, how can artistic research contribute to a knowledge production that really responds to the challenges, to the societal challenges of this world? How can artistic research maybe even drive the transition? And here, artistic research. I mean, I would open it up, this concept. No, I mean, I would understand it as all sorts of forms of creative practice-based research that are aiming at innovation, knowledge production. So it also includes architecture, design, music, many different disciplines, and maybe also new disciplines that will appear in the future. So we have, for example, one PhD student who is doing his PhD on live mixing as a form of research. No? I mean, that's what we're doing here.
we will welcome him or her here for research or for collaboration.
No, it's very interesting that, I mean, only when you live mix, you develop a relationship to the visuality of the material. This is absolutely different to sitting in an sitting alone in an editing room and editing for half a year.
It's a state of being. We call it etherization. It's like, this state of being in this, the present is more like multidimensional than.
Yeah. So what is the future of these forms of, I mean, unconventional forms of research that are not, I mean, that are not consolidated as a science. No? I mean, there are many disciplines that consider themselves as scientific, and they have much more fragile or maybe even problematic epistemological concepts. Yeah, it's just that they have been consolidated at some point in the end of the 19th century as a science. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. The interesting thing is that this has never really happened with the artistic and creative disciplines. Yeah. They always, I mean, German art theory of the 19th century always claimed a radically different form of producing not knowledge, but conceiving, no, or understanding, Erkenntnis, or it's something that is slightly different to the cognitive forms of knowledge production. No? So I think, or what I see also when I talk to my colleagues in the natural sciences or in engineering or in hardcore science fields, no, that there is indeed a shift to more practice-based methodologies. Yeah. And there's also a shift towards, or there's an urgency to produce knowledge that is not only effective, but that is also affective. Knowledge that has the power or the capacity to affect other people. Otherwise, we will not be able to deal with the challenges. And this is behind what the EU Commission now calls mission-oriented research. Yeah? I mean, this is when Mariana Mazzucato refers to the NASA program to go to the moon in the 1960s. No? It's not that, I mean, this was something that affected many people, also beyond the scientific community. So I think it's not so much the question that they really had a mission to go to the moon. Yeah, sure, of course, there was a certain level of commitment, but it was a commitment that affected many other people or whole societies. So, and then it was possible. Yeah? due to the effect or due to the capacity of the scientists to affect the rest of the society, but also due to the power, one should not underestimate this counter concept, yeah, due to the power of the society to be affected. This is sometimes much more difficult, but it's an equally active capacity. Yeah.
Thank you. Hurt asked me, Roman, you know what is artistic research? So I answer, yeah, I'm personally artistic research, and what we do here probably it is artistic research in Stream Art Studio and UKRAiNATV, and he answered, be careful. And we are saying greetings to her. Also, thank you. And
this is basically, I mean, sorry if I can say something, because I mean, when I was head of the Art Academy 7 years in a University for Science and Technology, of course, the question I constantly had to permanently had to answer was, so what is this art if you're not painting or making sculptures and so on, yeah? And or what is art? Yeah? And I said, okay, I mean, I tried different strategies to answer to this question, yeah? I mean, complicated ones, like in the moment when you would be able to define it, would no longer be art, yeah? But this was not really working out so well. At a certain moment, I said, okay, you have to really break it down to some, to a clear and rather maybe a little bit oversimplified message. And then I thought, or I realized that art is actually the power to bring people together that would not meet otherwise. And I think this is this Gert, in this sense, he's brilliant in bringing people together who could otherwise not meet. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you. And we're going back to Gleb, yeah, with clip and trip to mountains and to Gleb mind in a way. And after 10 minutes we are back with Julia, I think then, and in our virtual spaces. Stay with us. See ya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You need mind disinfection. Open your mind so I could clean it. Oh my God, you have a lot of trash over there. What's happened to you? Baby, just relax. No. This way. This is emergency exit. You don't need it. Leave your baggage. You shouldn't be afraid. There is no reason to be scared. I will hug you. I feel your heart. Your mind is warm. I'm kissing you from inside. Hey, do you have any plan? illusion of choice. Thoughts are coming from outside. Let it go from inside. Your universe is inside of someone's head. Ziomeczku, w twoich myślach został tylko kryształ. Zaraz go wciągnie. Ale głos! Nie muszę takie rzeczy prosić. Jest piękny. Że jesteś tym ciałem. Nie. Wyluzuj się. Wyluzuj się. A twoja wyobraźnia zaniesie ciebie wiele dalej. Jesteś kwiatuszkiem. Chciałbym się smarować twoim mózgiem. Do you have any plan? Doesn't matter, because it's illusion of choice. All your thoughts are coming from outside. Let it go from inside. Your universe is inside of someone's head. Ziomeczku, po twoich myślach został tylko kryształ. Zaraz go wciągniemy. O kurwa, ale głos! Nie. Wyluzuj się. Wyluzuj się. Bo twoja wyobraźnia zaniesie ciebie o wiele dalej. Ty jesteś kwiatuszkiem i chciałbym się posmarować twoim myłkiem. Całuję ciebie od środka. Każda twoja komórka jest kolejnym wszechświatem. Więc pozwól mu się rozwinąć. Uśmiechnij się do mnie i do siebie.
You hear me? So, hi everyone. We're back in the virtual studio now, and I will make a bit show off of this because this is what we built for a 24 hours event we held like last week. But this is also about our workshop that will be held in Amsterdam in the 8th and 9th of March. And yeah, this is an extension of the green cube we're in now. We have a video player, and I can make you a small tour of this. So yeah, this ambient was developed in this game engine called Unity, and it's uploaded on VRChat as the previous word that was hosted by UKRAiNATV in November, that was called V-Square. And we experimented with this. We can have like a green screen even in this air balloon you see right here. And yeah, there are some interactions that are programmed. And yeah, this is not just the only ambience we developed inside. We have another one that I will shortly show you. And it's called our personal Snake Island. The reference is the real island that it's in Ukraine. And on the 24th of February, the first day of the Russian invasion, was almost took over by the Russian warship, but the Ukrainian on the island managed to take it back. And yeah, we can shortly move to that one. So yeah, this is our virtual green screen, and we can we imagine this like a extension of the actual one we have in the studio, and we can jump in the other one, or yes, okay. Oh. Okay, so what to say about this one? It was multi-layered because originally it was the reproduction of the Snake Island as it is, but of course it's not like the actual representation of it. We wanted to make even a second meaning, like we disseminated on this island different ways of communicating. We put all these small emojis because one of the arguments that we are trying to investigate is the language aspect that for sure, like in UKRAiNATV, we try to hybridize how we communicate, because most of the talkings that we are making are held in Polish, Ukrainian, and in English. And this was also part of the talking with the Italian artist Nura Tafesh that we interviewed in Transmediale. And we were mainly talking about one of her projects that focuses on neologisms and how to try and decolonize the language, because for sure it's very convenient to have like one universal language, but it's not for sure enough. and this was kind of disrupting this court's short circuit of using always this one. And as we explore during the 24 hours event, the reproduction of this new word is kind of also how we dream. We didn't want to forget about what is going on with the war, but we were also dreaming of making this kind of safe island. So some of the words that I like to connect to this is like it's an island with no coins, no weapons, and no words. There are some interactions that can be used on this island. I designed some like colorful ways of drawing. So Ksenia, that is part of our team, and she performed in the previous ambience that was V-Square. It's provided this possibility of communicating even with this kind of media. And beside of the Snake Island, jumping into this calm ocean, you can be transferred to another level. That it's this kind of really chilling space. It for sure has our colors, so it's green and it's pink. And yes, it has these portals that are inside this green field that I imagine like a place where everyone could just explore and get lost in this maze. And I can show you. Yeah, for sure, part of the idea beyond this was to have a virtual space that can be integrated with the people that are inside the studio, and to try to have this multi-layered ambience. These ambiences can be also like viewed with the headset. Right now I'm using my laptop, but it's possible to have it connected to the AC Vive and explore it using this other device. Another layer of this island was an idea that was worded during some talking with members of the studio. So we were thinking of this island like a place of the living and a place of the dead. So disseminated inside the ambience, there are some bones, some nests, there are some snakes. And this was also related to the mythology that it's very ancient and it's connected to the Greek mythology, and the fact that on this island were performed some rites and some kind of symposium. So besides this symbolic aspect of it, it's for sure the fact that right now, nowadays, it's like a symbol, because it's a symbol of freedom for Ukrainian people and a symbol of kind of an altar of what was performed a long time ago, and still it's actual in a way. Yeah, so my my dream is to see this island populated, but many avatars. Not now; it's just me going around. But I would really like to see how this space can be used in a valuable way, and for sure, it's as the simulacrum, this kind of shape of a game, but. It's not like I would like it to be perceived. It's more like this original idea of having a common area that has no clear limits inside. watch at these words I created for our studio, and I hope that it can be a safe island for everyone that want to explore them and make something new with them. It's this is the main reason I made them, for me, for us, but for all the people that want to explore them.
What does it mean to wait for the war, right? Yeah.
Шановні друзі, сьогодні у Кракові очікується вітряна погода, можливі осадки у вигляді сльоз нашого прекрасного неба.
I think there is a very substantial knowledge production that is happening in our places. Our places, I mean Ukraine or Poland or Baltic states, also within Russia, through like in Yakutia, let's say, there's a whole like genre of Yakut cinema, for example. The problem is that it's not seen, right? And then because on the curatorial part in other places, it's just not seen, you know, and it's like rarely selected or brought into.
Бити, бо не хочу, щоб били тебе. Через моє тіло ти станеш вільна. Моє тіло буде останнім. Мій страх лишиться в книжках, навіть якщо в них ніхто не повірить. А коли паду, віддавши свої останні сили, прошу тебе, прошу, кинь мене у той будинок всіх моїх нездійснених мрій, де я зможу вести вічні роздуми про те, чому ти в мене її забрав.
Art is a very intimate thing.
Stay pink.
Yeah, stay pink.
Будьте, і ми будемо також. Разом з вами, разом з нами, усюди і завжди.
Do you wish to the birth of this kind of new language that's more connected also to our emotions, as you said, for the parosmia. And do you think there is something that could be more universal in a way?
Hello, hello. Together with the trailer, we are back for the moment in Berlin, and the next interview is going, and I'm back from the past, but not far. We are back, UKRAiNATV, in our crazy pop-up studio, and we have a special guest, Mackenzie Work. I'm so happy to have you here, and let's talk about pink color, about pink, about pink party, and about potentiality of this.
I was just saying there usually isn't a pink party, you know, like you got to choose like it's usually like a primary color, or even sometimes a secondary color is like the political colors, but pink sort of isn't. So pink always seems a little femme, a little gay, a little queer, you know. So let's have pink as
this is queering of Polish flag also. I for a long time I tried to do this, like you mix red and white, and then finally you have pink, and you have like queering of Polish, which is so conservative state in a way, and is one of the options to deal with this color. Another is on the cover of your new book, We're Waiting. Tell us please about rave and political potentiality of that's form of activity, that's form of being together.
Yeah, I wrote this little book, Raving, about the New York sort of queer and trans rave scene that I'm interested in the illegal ones that just occupy spaces temporarily. They're still a business, you still have to pay for them, but at least you're sort of repurposing space and creating ways that we can have some kind of intersubjective, post-subjective connection to each other outside of that sort of relentless individuation of like staring at your phone all the time. You know, it's like a good rave gets you off your phone for a few hours and you'll just dance. So maybe that's a space where we can withdraw a little bit from constant surveillance, withdraw a bit from our surveillance of ourselves even, and just sort of regenerate a little bit. So it's more a recuperative, reparative space. I don't think, you know, like the rave is not utopia. All of the social contradictions of the world come into the space, but at least you can try to manage them differently.
But question could be, it has a long history. It's also, as I recognize your book, it's like a research in the history of this movement. And but what do you think about the future of this kind of temporal occupation of space, this temporal tactics?
I mean, it comes and goes, and sometimes you don't find the spaces that you need to produce that kind of life. Like some cities don't afford that, and I don't know that New York will for much longer. So it's trying then to pass on the learned habits and skills and feelings of like, this is how you know, I learned 20 years ago how to be in space with other people, to sort of keep passing that along, because like you don't sort of grow up knowing how to do these things, you know, but I think it's kind of important to retain that possibility of collective joy, collective celebration, collective labor that does nothing. Like a good, you know, you work hard at a good dance party, but you don't produce anything. Like the energy is, most of our labor is either useless or, you know, harmful. So let's like work it out on the dance floor and pass on the ability to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's like a statement that we could spread also, you know, from Berlin, from New York, that you do actually, also to maybe we are based in Krakow. It's a quite small, but not the smaller city in the Central Europe. There's also Constantine and ravers and producers and everything around. There's like crazy people, infrastructure, and also we are part of this kind of not only as UKRAiNATV relate to war, to Ukrainian topics, but also to lifestyle, to this empowerment, and that's what I recognize also in that community, that it gives power to people to be together, to also to pass the depression, the states of being, in shade of war. And it's very important and very giving power to people. And
Yeah, that's interesting, and I can't speak to that because I'm not in Ukraine. I'm live safely miles away in the US.
Even me, I'm Paul, and it's shame, but the people from our crew, the Ukrainians from our crew, they are not able to travel abroad now because they're stuck because of limits of but you have statements to ask to them maybe.
I'm firstly solidarity with people stuck in the war zone and fighting for their autonomy over space and life. So like solidarity with our friends in Ukraine, it's important to say, and I think to phrase in language something like that, I'm not an expert on any of that, and that's sort of all I have to offer is, just to hope that everybody remains safe and that the war ends eventually, and with people retaining autonomy over their lives.
Thank you. Thank you for this talk, meeting, and
you're welcome. And
have fun in Berlin,
pink.
And
Stay pink.
Yeah, stay pink. Okay, guys, zostajemy pink in our virtual studio. Let's talk together, mix languages, and start to reflect some important topic that we keep in our minds after 24-hour event, even before. Gleb, Ksenia, and Ania are together with us.
Szanowni, mamy taki temat do przegadania. To jest pewien temat, o którym często się nie mówi, lub ludzie mają pewną obawę rozmawiać na ten temat, a jednak on bardzo wpływa na codzienne życie wielu z nas. Wielu z nas, czyli osób, którzy znajdują się w pewnym sensie, oczywiście w bezpieczeństwie i dobrych warunkach do życia, tworzenia i po prostu normalnego bycia. Czyli znajdujemy się na terenie państwa, w pewnym sensie wolnego państwa, gdzie nie jesteśmy ograniczani w kontekście możliwości pod względem technologicznym, ale także bardzo podstawowym, czyli żeby nie było prądu u mnie w domu, no to naprawdę musiałoby coś poważnego się wydarzyć, a i tak na pewno dostałbym papierek z powiadomieniem o tym. A także fakt tego, że po prostu możemy się czuć swobodnie tutaj w Polsce. Swobodnie, ale także bezpiecznie, ponieważ nie myślisz, budząc się rano, że albo może przylecieć rakieta ci na głowę w trakcie snu, ale także nie mogą włamać się do ciebie jakieś służby jebane specjalne i zwinąć cię do więzienia i do katowania za to, że wyrażasz alternatywną i przeciwną myśl, przeciwną wobec istniejących zasad politycznych. Czyli to jest poczucie, pewnego rodzaju poczucie winy za to, że się jest w miejscu bezpiecznym w odniesieniu do osób przebywających w kompletnie innych warunkach i to drastycznie innych warunkach życiowych. Ja myślę, że możemy zacząć od jakiegoś formowania i wyjaśnienia tego, co się odczuwa. A więc to jest pewnego rodzaju uczucie winy. Dla każdego to jest inne uczucie, ale mówiąc na przykład o mnie, o sobie, to z pewnością mogę powiedzieć, że to jest uczucie winy dla mnie w pierwszej kolejności przed swoimi bliskimi, którzy znajdują się teraz w Ukrainie i żyją każdą minutę i sekundę swojego życia, rozumiejąc, że w pewnym momencie, w każdej sekundzie życie może się zakończyć. Albo dla nich, albo dla ich najbliższych osób. I to uczucie powoduje, że borykamy się z pewnego rodzaju problemem, barierem i przeszkodą przed swobodnym tworzeniem, swobodną eksplozją własnych emocji i uczuć, ponieważ w pewnym sensie jest wstyd, nawet bym to ujął w ten sposób. Nie wiem, tak czasem to się odczuwa, ponieważ rozumiejąc, że ty masz w jakimś sensie wszystko, a ktoś nie może wykonać swojej podstawowej pracy jakiegoś designera, grafika, ponieważ ma 20 godzin na 24 blackout w mieszkaniu i nie może ani tworzyć, ani wykonywać swojej pracy. A wyobraźcie sobie, jak się czują dzieci. Małe dzieci, którzy wkraczają do tego życia w takiej atmosferze, w której muszą co chwilę doznawać i wyjaśniać dla siebie, co kurwa się dzieje w tym popierdolonym świecie. Ja na początku, w 14 roku wyjechałem i przez jakiś czas próbowałem się obcować z tym, co się dzieje, przynajmniej pod względem emocjonalnym. Starałem się jakoś się oddzielić od obecnej sytuacji w moim kraju. W czasach dzisiejszych to już nie jest możliwe, ponieważ kiedy każdy członek twojej rodziny jest narażony na stracenie własnego życia, to zmienia się kompletnie odbiór rzeczywistości. I pojawia się problem z tym, żeby się ujawniać swobodnie w social media. Jest problem z tym, żeby otwarcie mówić o tym, co robisz na co dzień, ponieważ w pewnym sensie pojawia się uczucie winy, że ktoś nie może robić tak podstawowych rzeczy, jak wyjście ze znajomymi po północy, imprezowanie, po prostu poczucie swobody i spokoju. Ksenia, co u ciebie, z czym jest związane to uczucie i jak w ogóle to odbierasz i z czym to się wiąże w twojej sytuacji?
I would switch in English then, so more people could understand what we are talking about, because it's very important. And we are talking about the fear and the feeling this fear when you live outside the war, but you are somehow connected to what is going on in this world. And I can say from my perspective that I connected to two wars at the same time. It's Belarusian war inside of the country and what is going on now in Ukraine. And the question is how this feeling is changing the perspective or reality of an individual, how it, which impact it gives you in your life, and how to create and how to live in such situation. I think not many people spoke about it because I saw how many people came to Poland. Where are we now? Since the war started, since the Belarusian protest started in 2020, and I haven't spoke much about this problem, to be honest. And I always knew that I'm not alone in here, but I never had any open dialogue with anyone about this, because I think it's the feeling you live with, and you just start to live with it, right? And it's a hard topic, though. It's a hard topic for me privately, because I never spoke out loud about this, but everything is changing so much. The perspective you're looking on the world when something is going on with the country of your origin, with your family, with your friends, with the people you know, might be even just people you don't know, but they are close to you. It's unimaginable. It's hard to talk even. Sorry. It's a fear. It's just the feeling of helplessness that you live, that you wake up every day with, and you just somehow understand that you can't do anything. You will not change the world because you're just an individual. Just like it's just me. Like I will not stop the war, or I will not go to Belarus and to stop protests. And I remember the day when it all started at my house. I was in Poland because I live here for a couple of years now, and I remember that instant fear I felt when I understood that my family, that my friends, that everyone I know, everyone I left in Belarus, they're not safe anymore. In every second, something might happen, someone might be killed, someone might get to prison. Every time I was in Belarus 2 times since the protest started, and probably some of you will understand, someone who is from Belarus and who did something that I did as well. The fear when you're crossing the border is unimaginable. I never was shaking that much in my life. Probably I was later when the war started in Ukraine, but it was another fear. But the moment when I was crossing the border, the moment when I was going out on my streets of my hometown, it's just constant fear you feel. This fear is becoming the biggest part of your life, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Absolutely. The perspective of my mind changed that much that I'm not gonna lie that every day when I'm waking up still after 3 years what is happening in Belarus, after, to be honest, 26 years or 28 even, it's a fear you wake up every day with. It's a fear that you wake up and you think, what can happen today? will my mom text me today that she's alive, or will my dog will be fine, or my granny, or my friends in Ukraine. I do personally shared a story with a soldier I met from Sweden, and I want to just share a little bit because I had a text with him today. Long story short, I met a volunteer who is fighting in Ukraine now, and he's from Sweden, and now temporarily he's in Sweden taking a break because he got shot, so he had an operation in Zaporozhye, and now he's recovering in Sweden and going back to Ukraine to fight. But I wish you would never experience the feeling when you text someone and you don't know if this person will reply to you, because if you don't know if this person is alive. And the question is how to deal with it, how to live with such fear every day, how to deal with the feeling that you're waking up every day and I'm not there. And when protests start in Belarus, I felt like I must go there. Like I have no choice. Like I need to be there because I might change something. But then I understood that I'm not. What I can do is stay here and help as I can here. When the war started, I was at my hometown in Belarus, and that was the moment when I felt the fear again. And because when Belarusian protests started, I was in Poland, and I really wanted to go home, and I really wanted to stay there and fight as all my friends did. My mom said to me back in the day that you will not help, you will just get to prison and probably got shot. Like it's just pointless. You should stay there. You should help there somehow. And I started to do something. I started to go to protest, and I started to meet new people and do politics stuff. But when the war started and I was at my house, I said to my mom, I'm not gonna leave again. I will stay here with you because I feel like that's what I need to do. And she again said to me, no, you need to go there. You need to go there. You need to be safe. You must be safe. So I know you're safe, and I know you can help us to get out of here if the situation will go really bad. And the moment when I was crossing the border, it was just the first day of war, I was shaking constantly. The moment when I crossed the border, the moment when I got out from the bus and I was just sitting on the bus station in Białystok, in the first Polish city after the Belarusian border. I'm literally shaking now when I'm like reminding myself how I felt back in the day. The moment when I understood that I don't know what will be tomorrow, I don't know if everyone I left today will they be alive tomorrow, all my friends and part of my family in Ukraine, what will be tomorrow. I was shaking because I understood that I left on my own to another country and I am safe now, but I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe because all my life is my surrounding, right? All my life is not just me, is my friends and my family and the people I know. And that it's hard. Honestly, it's hard. I remember how I just started crying back on that bus station, and I was crying for a couple of hours because I just felt so empty. I just felt like, I don't know, my life just completely changed. And it's very hard to live and to create and to do your daily routine when you understand that someone in Ukraine now don't have electricity, or my mom can every day get the police call and say, like, you know what, your daughter got into trouble and you'll be in trouble as well. And you probably have watched my interview with my friend who we do our volunteering center with, and her family got into trouble. Mine, for my happiness, is not yet, and I know that yet. And You told that you can't imagine yourself being like out of the electricity. I had the situation when I had not electricity for 1 week, like 1 week ago. I never felt like I'm in danger, right? I'm never, when I'm going out in the night here in Krakow, and Krakow might be dangerous, right? But every city in the world might be dangerous, but it's not the danger when you feel that you might be shot or you might be bombed in a second. I felt guilty when I went out on parties for the first. Maybe I was not going out for first couple of months because I was really busy with volunteering and stuff. I was not posting anything on social media. I was so angry. I was so honestly angry with the people who can still post their nice pictures or food in Instagram. I could just not believe how can you do this? Like, now I understood that I'm somehow is still living, and I'm somehow is still creating, but I do feel guilty sometimes when I'm having a nice meal in my own flat in Krakow, but someone might not have a meal at all today and might not have even the flat or place to sleep. And I do think that people should share these emotions more and talk about it and try to be together, try to deal with this together, because this will never leave us, this feeling, all of us. And even if I personally haven't lost anyone who's my beloved yet, probably, I hope not, I do feel guilty anyway. I think I wanna pass the microphone now. I think yeah.
Thank you. So also there is Anya, really art person who makes incredible drawings, and also you will see today part of continuously going on drawing, which started 24 like a week ago, and she's really kind and soft person, which also had to find new possibilities to exist. Also, she have been in Kiev during this New Year holidays, if we could name it so. And in the time when she was living in Kiev, directing to home of her parents, Kiev was attacked by a lot of missiles and rockets, and hopefully she's in one piece here with us, and she also will spread some of her feeling on this team, but in Ukrainian, so we could spread much more of feelings and information for a lot of people. Що там, Аня, як ти?
Дуже важка тема, насправді. Я намагаюся зараз заспокоїтися, тому що це дійсно важливо говорити про свої почуття, а особливо про такі глибокі і такі, які стосуються, я думаю, майже кожного українця. Тому дякую, що ви щиро зі мною говорили, і вибачте, що я проявляю щиро свої емоції.
Як найбарdziej. Для того ми тут і є, і для того ми зібралися. Тому
але насправді я часто плачу від щастя, тому це просто емоційність. все, про що ви говорили, насправді я переживаю так само. Ось, і навіть без розмов я відчуваю і бачу, типу, що люди навкруги мене проживають те ж саме. Можливо, по-різному, неможливо, а точно, тому що ми всі різні. Але в цілому, якщо узагальнити це відчуття, і в цілому емоції, типу, від того, що зараз відбувається, тому що ти напряму зв'язана з цим, як ви і говорили, що ніби ви в безпеці, так, я в безпеці зараз, і нібито все ок, але все правда, добре, я стараюся не винити себе за те, що якби я в безпеці, і, можливо, я не роблю достатньо, я просто стараюсь не винити себе, тому що насправді важливо проживати своє життя, не зважаючи на те, що на фоні відбувається повний апокаліпсис. Ось, я драматизую, але приблизно так.
Не думаю, я думаю, що це повністю відповідає реальності.
Всім не приходиться, я рада, що у мене є така можливість, приходиться проживати своє життя ось з таким фоном, з такими подіями. Ось, тому я стараюсь себе не винити за те, де я і що я роблю, і що я радію якимось простим речам, дозволяю собі не думати про те, що відбувається, але це я зараз говорю про те, як я відкидаю це почуття вини. Але, звичайно, мені здається, що бути весь час, так сказати, усвідомленим, тобто бути в моменті і слідкувати за своїми думками важко. Ось, трішечки глибоко в тему зайшла, але так, ти не можеш постійно старатися якось тримати себе в кучі і не дозволяти не дозволяти поганим емоціям, негативним тебе затягувати, так сказати. Ось. Але так, я коли була, як сказав Глеб, я проводила Новий рік з батьками. Ось. І якраз це був період, коли світло вимикали кожен день, і типу по півдня світла не було, не по графіку, тобто війна. Навіть на Сході, при тому, що, здавалось би, на Заході, перепрошую. Ось. І я коли приїхала до Києву і вийшла з центрального вокзалу, і я була настільки щаслива, але в той самий момент я просто відійшла на 100 метрів від вокзалу і побачила розбомблений дом просто. Але що я скажу? Людям, які знаходяться за кордоном, тобто не в Україні, не в тих подіях, вони переживають глибше це все. Тому що, типу, ми переживаємо за близьких, ми не біля них і, тобто, не поруч. Ось. Але коли ви в Україні, типу, ви в війні, так сказати, просто живеш життя, так, типу, в будь-який момент може щось відбутися, але, ти не можеш вплинути на це, типу, так, укриття є, але в цілому люди в Києві, коли я була, настільки просто живуть життя, типу, і от, я побачила цей дом, і думаю, рік тому цього ніхто не думав про це. Ось, тому насправді я дуже рада, що я проговорила свої емоції на рахунок цього. Ось. І я рада зв'язку, який виник між людьми, здебільшого між українцями, ну, також і з іншими, звичайно, людьми, але якось українці зараз дуже свідомо проживають життя. Ну, перепрошую. Свідомо, ті, які, можливо, навколо мене, але в цілому, так, все змінюється.
Ну, насправді це останні декілька речень дуже важливі і правдиві, тому що я можу підтвердити, що найбільше сил додають розмови з людьми, які зараз там знаходяться. Тому що складається враження, що вони стоять перед прірвою нескінченної темряви. І вони кожного разу бажають тобі найкращого і дають тобі запал енергії для того, щоб існувати таким, який ти є, і ніколи не зупинятись. І для них найважливіше в цьому всьому, що ми тут не переживаємо того, що вони переживають там. Тому ж на завершення можу сказати, що це тема, на яку насправді треба розмовляти, принаймні між собою, між знайомими та друзями. І ділитись тим, що ти відчуваєш. Тому що інакше можна влетіти до чорної діри власної свідомості і там залишитись. Добре. Дякуємо. Дякуємо. Thank you all.
Thank you. Дякую.
Slowly we are going forward in our life and in our complex and multi-reality.
I wish everyone to be safe. That will be my last word.
Дякую Збройним силам України.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Живе Білорусь! Живе вічно!
І це як там? Ну, загалом що? Я думаю, що більш-менш. А? 10 секунд. Фаїна, так як ми минулого разу, типу, розмовляли, що, типу, про те, що там у тебе відбувається, де ти там пограла і так далі. Доброго вечора, а точніше, доброго ранку. Ми бажаємо Фаїні, яка з нами сьогодні з Лос-Анджелесу, USA. Ей.
Привіт.
Привіт, Фаїна. Дуже приємно бачити тебе можна сказати, дуже світлій атмосфері, тому що, наскільки я знаю, вчора у вас був сніг, а зараз це знову виглядає як якийсь острів чарівний.
Весна тут така. Каліфорнія це не тільки про літо, а ще і можна поїхати в гори і покататися на сноуборді, коли ти захочеш.
О, ну бачиш, яка різнорідна ця Каліфорнія.
Так. Тут дуже багато різноманітних подій кожного дня проходять, і тому тут вихідний 7 днів на тиждень і 24 години. І я навіть ще не встигла видихнути після Польщі, в мене дуже насичені дні. Зйомки, я також продовжую грати музику, роблю деякі 2 проєкти в мене нових, і ще я для вас приготувала сюрприз за Велом LA. Музей. Так.
Звучить інтригуюче. Дякуємо за такий теплий вступ, можна сказати. І зараз, власне, хотілося б Фаїна спитати трохи детальніше, власне, наскільки я знаю, тобі там вдалося на минулих вихідних, не на цих, а на минулих пограти десь, що ти вже там знайшла людей, які теж займаються свого роду мистецтвом, а також організацією мистецьких івентів, тусовок і так далі. Як там взагалі ситуація виглядає з андерграундом? Чи є рейви, чи це більш така культурна і попсова ділянка сфери? Ну, розкажи якісь новинки цікаві.
Так. Насправді я займалася документами, цей місяць більше, але і справами. Так, тут дуже багато ком'юніті різних. Тут є продюсери, є іменно продакшени, які роблять техномузику, вони пишуть. І я познайомилася з одним продюсером і вже зараз на етапі проходження на лейбл. То є лейбл S3SON, це більш як ком'юніті. А є 93, і вони займаються проходженням молодих діджеїв у техносцену. Техно тут є електронна музика також дуже різноманітна, тому що щоб знайти своє, треба спробувати різні тусовки, тому на одній тусовці казали мені, ні, техно тут мало, але потім пройшло 3 дні і я знайшла все, що там мені треба було. Вони більш локальні, так як я мешкаю в Санта-Моніці, то вони проходять більше в Вест-Голлівуд. Це різні трохи райони міста, і тому тут дуже багато рейвів приходить, і рейви приходять як у вихідні ми звикли, і також посередині тижня. Система в них дуже цікава, тобто вони тебе прослуховують, і якщо їм подобається, як завжди, то вони відкриті, і тому з одним продюсером також ми думаємо робити технопроєкт, як завжди, з декораціями, тому що десь тут декорації плюс-мінус не дуже розвиті у тусовці, але також ще є один проєкт в мене з електронною музикою, більш диско, дарк-диско, і також зйомки. Зйомки вже на наступному тижні, тому я готую проєкти. Тому видихати нема коли.
Звучить як типова Фаїна, мультитаскінг у всій красі.
Так.
Робимо, творимо, знімаємо, організовуємо і летимо просто мультимедіальна система зрозуміння цього світу.
Так, так. І ще в мене є один проєкт, я зараз до нього готуюсь, і вже музей підтвердив робити свою виставу картин, тому що я тут знову почала малювати.
Ого, дуже цікаво. А в якому це стилі? Ну, більш-менш, якщо можеш описати.
Діджитал.
Ага, найс.
Діджитал мінімалізм в мене.
О, звучить цікаво, звучить як майбутнє, якого потребує цей світ.
Так, так, так. І тому дуже зараз багато часу проводжу бесід і зустрічі з музеями саме з діджитал мистецтвом, арт. Тут їх дуже багато, і тому і всі вони відкриті, і всі вже в Алеї всі знають, що таке UKRAiNATV.
Я думаю, що ніхто не сумнівався в твоїх навичках чарувати і заволодівати людьми.
Ну так, вони в шоці. Ось тому, ну, якось так. Хто маленьку, я вважаю, що за місяць з бюрократією, то я йду в нормальному темпі.
Ага. Ну так. А наприклад, якщо ти організовуєш там якусь тусовку, то ти мусиш бути офіційно зареєстрованим платником податків, чи це ти можеш робити?
Так. А коли ти, тут дуже багато людей з України, і їм мені зробили за місяць документи. Деякі чекають 2-3 місяці, мені якось повезло, я не здивована, тому я вже всі документи маю. Я вже на наступному тижні вже все стаю водієм автомобілю.
Ага, вже отримуєш права, так?
Так. Ось я буду здавати ще мені треба деякі документи донести, але загалом це так, тут треба мати персональний номер, в Польщі це песель, тут інна трошки система, і вони її готують, і все, і в тебе є офіційні підстави, щоб ти міг працювати, тобто цілковитий мешканець Америки.
Ага. Цікаво. Це як у них там, social ID, чи як це?
Так, social ID. І зараз тут також є благодійні організації, які допомагають українцям адаптуватися, і вони також привозять українських митців. І на тому тижні був присвячений річниці року війни. Була вистава, грала Дар'я Коломієць, це дуже велика арт-діячка в Україні, і дуже багато художників з України було привезено, і було зібрано $2 мільйони на допомогу українській армії.
Ого!
На аукціоні. На аукціоні робіт.
Тобто чиїсь робіти там розігрувались, так?
Так, вони виставлялися, і ще я познайомилася з однією дівчиною, вона мешкає зараз у Львові, і Львів, Варшава, ось так. І вона дуже багато тут присунає українських митців, тому це... Я їй скинула свої роботи, і ось так ми ведемо переговори, щоб мистецтво теж допомагало.
Це чудово, тому що, знаєш, дуже важливо, власне, щоб не відбувались речі просто так. Завжди це має бути початий і закінчений процес, в певному сенсі цикл, власне, створення чогось і рефлексії на створення того чогось.
Так.
Тому що так набагато легше теж, мені здається, мотивувати людей, донатити і утримувати їх в цій темі болючій, яку на Заході, мені здається, деякі вже починають забувати, тому що, знаєш, це зникає з перших шпальт газет, і люди вже потрохи починають думати, що зараз ситуація у нас знаходиться на якомусь такому фінальному етапі, якогось там перемирення чи ще чогось типу такого. Тому це дуже круто, що ви, власне, через мистецтво приносите подвійну пользу і для людей, і для соціуму, і для мистецтва, і загалом для людства, я б сказав.
Так. Американці дуже, я спілкуюся з американцями, і коли вони чують, що я з України, вони дуже так приймаються, а що, а як, тому що дуже тут є інформація, але вже так, коли ти далеко знаходишся від подій, то ця грань, вона може стиратися, але вони дуже приймаються, і вони дуже завжди, ось, може тобі щось треба допомогти, та ось на контакти, там, дуже так дають такий фідбек, але я розповідаю це не про те, що якось викликати якісь емоції, але, я кажу так, я з України, і, ось так трапилось.
Тут, знаєш, важко насильно там викликати емоції, коли і в натуральному відчутті і форматі це вже просто настільки вибухова хвиля інформації і почуттів, що тільки дуже холодна і майже мертва особа може бути взагалі, знаєш, безчуттєвою в стосунку до цього.
Так. Тому в плані мистецтва тут можна робити проєкти і різноманітного характеру і напрямку. Тут дуже багато всього. І все є, якщо хто хоче, то і знайде.
Звісно, а ти хочеш, і ти знаходиш.
Так.
Добре.
Ось, тому такі справи.
Окей. А як там помешкання, там споко, wszystko? Там квартира, все добре знайдено.
Так, я одразу, привіт. Я одразу все знайшла. Я ще знайшла все в Польщі.
Ага.
Ось, я знайшла
все продумано.
Так. Звичайно. Я ж дуже відповідальна особа. Так, все знайшла, все по документам. Тут по тій програмі, в якій я тут знаходжусь, все легально і все одразу, всі в курсі, і тому здається мешкання. І тому, я живу в дуже гарному місті Санта-Моніка, тому що тут не є окремі такі райони. Тут Санта-Моніка – це одне місто, Беверлі-Хілл – це друге місто, LA – це все це LA, але дуже я вибрала район біля океану.
Звісно, щоб можна було о 6 ранку прокидатись і бігати.
І бігати, так. Я одразу знайшла собі маршрут, де я можу побігати, одразу знайшла ком'юніті, який проводить йогу, медитацію. Тобто, тут різно багато людей, культур, індуси роблять одне, мексиканці роблять інше, і з усіма цими ком'юнітами можна легко їх знайти і з ними спілкуватися і дуже черпати від них різних гарних штук, як від мистецтва, так і до праці.
Добре. Ось. Звучить чудово. А ти скажи мені, на коли планується виставка?
Я вважаю так, що привіт, хей. Виставку я ще в процесі. Я зараз збираю матеріал, і я так вважаю, що десь або на кінець весни, або на початок літа.
Добре. Ну то що, в такому разі будемо чекати з нетерпінням на силочки, на відосики.
Так.
А можливо навіть на якусь трансляцію, яку ми будемо міксувати і поєднувати десь тут. Бажаю тобі успіху, власне, в організації цього неймовірного світу.
Добре, дякую. І чекаю вас у гості.
Так, я думаю, що ми приїдемо.
Бо я не зможу до вас приїхати найближче 5 років.
У нас же діти будуть. Так. А чому, власне, через 5 років тільки ти зможеш?
Тому що по програмі 2 роки я не можу виїжджати з країни. Можу, але це дуже ризиковано.
Ти не можеш переривати якби цей час перебування?
Так, перебування візовий. А потім я міняю статус, і коли я міняю статус, цей процес теж займає десь приблизно 5-4 років. Я надію, що мені буде так же вести з документами, і я зроблю це раніше. Я можу виїжджати з країни навіть по цій програмі. Я спілкувалася з адвокатом з Вашингтона, і він сказав мені, що можна зробити, якщо є якісь підстави. Тобто або виступ, або щось, бо тут є така віза талантів, і ось через 2 роки я на неї буду подаватися. Тому в мене дуже багато справ треба зробити, щоб в Америці поставити чекіт, що я все зробила, і тому я молодець і відповідальна громадянка України.
Звучить як віза, як мала отримати.
Так. Я теж про це подумала.
Добре. All right, babe. See you in the next episode of our program. Meanwhile, I wish you good luck and the best in your interesting and crazy life.
Okay, see you guys.
See you, Rom.
See you, Faina. We are in touch and hope we will show also you paintings what is happening.
Okay.
Чекаємо на тебе.
Чекаємо. So beautiful, guys. Okay, bye. Good night. Bye, see you.
Good night, have a good day, bye.
Have a good day, yeah. Bye.
Ром, що łączysz?
Dbaj o siebie. Ej, dbaj o siebie.
ogrzeje nas.
Lęk jest niemożliwym widokiem twoich własnych oczu leżących na ziemi. Lęk. Przetrwamy. Lęk. Przetrwamy. Lęk jest niemożliwym widokiem twoich własnych oczu leżących na ziemi. Lęk. Przetrwamy. Lęk przetrwamy. Ciepły sweter i koc mojej mamy
Ogrzeje
Wytrzymamy, przetrwamy. Ciepły sweter koc mojej mamy ogrzeje nas. Przetrwamy. Ciepły sweter i koc mojej ogrzeje nas. Wytrzymamy, przetrwamy. Ciepły sweter i koc mojej mamy ogrzeje nas. Ciepły sweter, koc mojej mamy ogrzeje nas, ogrzeje nas.